I'm Margaret in Windsor, and I just put up a video. I guess it was kind of the night or later. I was so sick. Uh, I'll put up again. I was kidnapped in 41 at age 2. I was born in 39. And I'm not going to put up, well, my real name is Margaret in Windsor. I said that enough times, I guess. My father's Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Simpson. She married an impostor, one of the doubles. There were more than one. They became the illegal Duke and Duchess of Windsor, and yes, Elizabeth has always known that she's not the legal monarch. She's one of the highest members of the Illuminati that helped take down my dad with character assassination. He was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, school teacher from Madison, Wisconsin, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe. They took her down and have changed to where you can't find a photo of my mom. And my children, Mark and Scott, are heirs after me. I'm Victoria II, the legal heir at the moment. She's not. But until this is addressed, and now Jeff K. helped in my kidnapping. His father was appointed ambassador to England by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a Jew. Rockefellers, Rothschild, Bilderbergers. Kennedy's Irish. Anyway, they kidnapped me. And then Elizabeth is, and this was just up on a list made, the top 300 of the Illuminati, the Freemasonry Mafia that control the United Nations out of New York City, where the Rockefeller Foundation headquarters is. So why did Hillary Clinton, didn't they have funds raised or something during the campaign, something about Rockefeller headquarters? What? I can't remember. Anyway, I wanted to put this up. I'm allergic to chemicals, and I've been putting this up for quite a while. What's happened to me? I can't get an attorney, obviously, and put it up on Facebook. But to give a narrative of what's going on, I'm allergic to chemicals. And people who think this is funny or cute or minute, and there are a lot who think that it's just, oh well. Well, it's not. It's a horrifying thing if you're forced to, if you're, let's say, if you're allergic to peanuts, it's going to kill you. But autoimmune disorder is when you're allergic to something and it triggers your immune system, the smell of it, the odor. So you'd have to stop breathing. And it triggers your response. Your immune system attacks itself, starts killing the good cells and everything, and you get so weak and it's not fighting off the other diseases. So the inflammation caused by it can cause your heart, liver, anything. The inflammation can cover your body, especially lungs right at the moment, or seem under attack with what's going on being put in my room now, or your kidneys especially. But I wanted to get to this here where I've been living since the 19th of July last year, and it's been rough. Because when I'm talking about this, I mean it is deliberate use of chemicals to run me, make me sick from place to place. And I go back, and Carl Barton was a Virginia state trooper, is, I hope he's still alive, retired. He and his wife Linda were with me, and I won't go into that. That gets into, it gets too lengthy, and I won't get this up. To his wife telling me, this is how we've run you. She's talking about the law enforcement with chemicals. Well, I've been telling that, and people know it, but they won't do anything. They don't want to get involved here or anywhere that Atlanta. I used to live there, and they knew all this. We were going to. I don't know that they knew about the chemicals being used. They knew about my kidnapping, writing a book about mind control murders. And therein, I want to stop and say something. And I'll lose my train of thought. I want to get back to this. But a gentleman the other day said it loud and clear. he was trying to help me get a place to stay. Well, I pay just like anybody else does. And right now I'm being run out of Roanoke because I have no place to go. And I realize now it's not going to get any better here, it'll get worse. So, where I go to and the things that some people have given me the last month or two, gifts, some clothing, etc., and it certainly helps. And they're nice. It's nice clothing, so it's hard to part with it after living so long and not having anything. Period. Now that I guess I ramble because this is not good for me here where I'm at. Um, I forgot where I was going now. I really have lost my train of thought. I'm so tired. I woke up in the night and I was so sick. Anyway, the way they've been, let me get back to just this. The way they've handled it is they can move me to another room. Now, this is ongoing. What's being done to me, and sooner or later, you just drop dead Fred, is what you do. Carry out on a slab, and however. It's who I am. That's why this is being done to me. It's the government. That's what I meant to say. This young man stepped up to the plate and he said he had spoken with someone and trying to help me with a place to live. The person was retired. She is. And, you know, he said he hoped she understood that it was the government doing this to me. And he said it as it always should have been said. People don't like to hear that the United States is doing this, and a lot of them, excuse me, it's a lot of them that don't care. They don't want you to say the United States is doing anything wrong, when in fact, when they've done it to me, this involves mind control, murders, usage of mind control to kill, to program mass armies, etc. You're talking about the government's doing it to you, this government. And that's exactly who's doing it. They brought me over here in 41 at age 2. JFK helped kidnap me. That's why the cover-up of the Warren Commission wasn't because of anything other than if it told the shootings that they're mind control, but they were done, it would lead to me in the takedown of my father and who my mother is, an American. Anyway, not funny, but it's this government that's doing it, and thank him for having the guts to say it. But I've gone through, as bad as my life has been, doing some companion aids to have a job, place to live, and I can't hardly talk. I'm too tired, and I've got to. I'm smelling this stuff. Anyway, the way it ends up is, I have not much luggage. I do now, or boxes and stuff. Some things that I so appreciate and would hurt to lose. Really would. So now then I would go into somebody's home and they'd wonder what the heck happened to me. You start telling any part, or if you don't, then they back away because they want to know your background, but they don't. You start saying a few things about what happened to me, if I said it, then they really back away. Well, we don't believe it. I've gone through it too many times, and quick, you're set out the door. So he was kind enough to try and to say that perhaps she would understand that it was this government that's doing it to me, and that's very true. What I want to add is what they're doing to me. I'm telling you about mind control. They're the ones doing it. And so if they're the ones doing it, they're doing it to you Americans. And that's what I have tried so hard. And I have said, not only did they do it to me, they're doing it to other Americans. Scott Peterson, there's a man up there, and I know people don't like to admit it. He's going to be probably sentenced to death row. I think his last name's Watts, I believe it is, and I believe he's in California. But supposedly he killed his pregnant wife. That's kind of like Lacey Peterson, Connor, and Scott Peterson's on death row for that. It was a mind control murder done in patterns. But this man up in Colorado, his wife and 2 young daughters and unborn child, which was male, I believe. He thinks he killed them. He admitted that he killed them. Now then, he's being prosecuted. I think he's found guilty, and he's going to go off for the rest of his life. And people hate his guts. He doesn't. I wonder if somebody walked up and told him he'd been programmed, and it could be proven how he'd feel if he would call me a nutcase or use bad language against me. I've used my time and hell and I won't go any further than that. I want to get back to this. I hope I made my point. Um, Now then, here I've lived here, and over the years, this is what they've done. They've deliberately housed me, if that's what you call it. HUD became involved, and that's federal offense. But you won't get it into court. I can't, even if I got an attorney. I doubt he would tackle any of this. But now then, I'm reduced to, I've been living in motels the last since '86, and a couple times at HUD, and the same thing happens. They run me off with chemicals. I remember over in Bedford at Joseph's Dream in 2012. Moved in on 1st of July. The I'm going to lose my. I better just stop here. There's so much happened the minute I moved in there. The air conditioning went out. It was a brand new unit. Then you had a pipe that had been broken before I had moved in, and it had seeped out, and there was mold and mildew all there, and it was going up the closet where the air conditioning is contained out into. So you get into this thing that only a few people had moved in and there because they'd been shut down, and the point being, until they brought me in there, they couldn't. And that's part funded by the government. Your low-income HUD housing was owned by Reverend Washington, and his personnel even told me, "Well, we're for you, we're trying," but they put a hold on their money and funding. So until they got me in and did the dirty deeds to me, and they were horrible, they couldn't fill their places, let other people moved in. Right after I stayed there 7 months in the hell where they moved me from there down the street, and the woman, she's still there, I think, and got her, she should be in prison. She even told me that they moved me the second time from the first one. So this leaves me moving and making it, if you don't know the background, that I'm the bad egg in it. She told me when she left and went back to her office across the street, she says, "Watch and you'll smell it." In other words, she went across the street and she has something there that she can turn on the smells, and it'll come out through your air conditioning heating. So the rooms they put me in are made ahead of time where they put me. And maybe it's in all the rooms, I don't know. That should scare a few people. But what I wanted to get to at the moment, and I guess they can hear me out there, is it was really too bad last night, and it's not better now. And suddenly, they're full of, well, I don't know if this matters or not, they take their orders too. You know, there's a couple of them I really like here, and it's kind of sad, you know. Nobody did their job descriptions. They should not have been. People should be arrested for what they are doing to me. And anyway, I'm going to lose the time on here. It's illegal all they've done, but now then it would seem to be coming to a screeching halt as far as here, that I'm going to have to leave. I have nowhere to go. I'll lose all my things here that have been put together over the last couple of months from some friends off of social media. I think you know who I'm talking about. And I hate to lose them. I haven't had anything in so long. So anyway, it looks like there's not going to be any moving me around. I can just stay in here and suffer or leave. If they moved me to another room, it wouldn't be long till it was sabotaged too. That's been and it makes me if people care to look at it that way, like I'm just moving around for the hell of it. They know the truth. They do. So I guess where am I going from here? I really don't know. Not funny. Last night was hell. I can't take any more of that. So I'd have to try to get out. I'd have to leave this, which really would tear me apart. And plus, there's a few more things that someone was sending me, gifting me. I wanted to stay and get that. I really do need that. Whether I can suffer through it, and then where do I take it? It's so horrible what's been done. And it is done by this government. I told you I had a letter from the FBI June the 23rd of 79 after I'd done the book, and Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. And I'm flown out there a few years later in 83 when Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor, the plane he was on, the KAL, was shot down. Supposedly he was on it. So was Nixon, and they took him off just before the flight took off. So it's a question of whether Larry McDonald was on it. Now, your congressmen have to know all this, or maybe you better get rid of them all. They've all known about my kidnapping, who my father is, and what they did to my country. And the UN up there is your United Nations, your front for your global government, your Illuminati, your mafia. And I guess that's all I'm going to say. It seems like now that I can either suffer through it and they'll keep doing it till I'm carried out on a slab, or I don't know. I try to leave for where. I don't know, but I can't let myself just die in here. And no, I can't call the cops. I've put all this up. I think people don't really understand. They're still living good. They don't understand or care to right at the moment. A lot of them do, okay, but evidently not enough. There's some good souls, but people like to think that everybody else is the terrorist. This has been from day one, creating the whole scenario, and you have to make them a terrorist. That all Bin Laden's a terrorist, blah 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 is a terrorist. You have to send in, who the chemicals they were blaming on, not airflow. Well, I can't think of his name, and I'm sorry because I think he's probably a very good man. Anyway, let me just go. They go after the leaders. And make them sound like terrorists and everything, and go in and bomb the hell out of them, and then run their people. So they're trying to find a home, and they found a home by leaving and going to Turkey, to France, to the UK, to Germany, etc., etc. And when cultures mix like that, I'll go ahead and say it, it's true, and they get into the country, they're going to take over your country, make it theirs. Well, they can go back and say, well, you invaded us, or, well, Great Britain didn't. Not in this, they certainly didn't. The United States, when they invaded the UK and kidnapped me and took my father down, were the ones that allowed the treaties to be made that allowed Jews to go back to Jerusalem. They're the people that helped kidnap me and take down my father. So it's all illegal, and I'm sounding rambling, so I'm going to stop here. I think you get the gist of it. The United Nations was formed, which is your global government. Henry Kissinger, good old Henry Kissinger. People are talking about, he's a Jew. People are talking about the Saudi prince is supposed to have had a hand in killing the journalist. They're going